Thanks for coming over. This is Amadeus, and today's video is about Steel Widow 11 in your free-to-play team. Now, this is my team right now. Now, I've been theory crafting this for a while, and I talked about it a bit during a couple of the previous videos, specifically the spotlight on Hoshi, the Nature Magical Girl. But I finally got it done. So to make it work, I needed a max 6-star Hoshi, and that took a while. It also took that multiple laundry day event to really kind of fine-tune and maximize the team gear builds, because there has to be a lot of sustainability as well as a lot of damage on these teams. And it's really important that the three big factors in this team work together well. And while there are some tweaks that I can see I want to make, this is the best farming team for Steel Widow I've been able to make so far. So let's break it down. The core of this team is Rota, the Nature Valk, Hoshi, the Nature Magical Girl, and Yua, the Dark Magical Girl. Now, the BMs are the best options available to me, but they are absolutely replaceable from a DPS standpoint. I mean, even specifically, look at Malika. I would much rather have another Alya in here because of the difference in their third skills. Now, we'll run through this several times during the course of the video so that you can see its consistency. And this is really driven by a couple of factors, specifically the Dark Magic Girl, because she gives a defense buff. And she has that prevent death mechanic when you take lethal damage, right? But she also heals, so that's key. Now, Rota also has a lower attack, and that's always going to be helpful. The nice part also is that Hoshi is going to give you cooldown on your skills just like Rota is, and Hoshi is going to strip, give the buff, right, for attack, which combines very nicely with Rota's buff for attack speed. So you get a lot of synergy between these different components. And like I said, the Blade Masters, while they're awesome Nat 5s, really are just there for DPS. And at the end, we'll talk about some replacements and maybe even get a chance, if we don't run too long, to demonstrate some of those. But the key really is like taking your best runes and building your gear out. So yesterday we went and built a Steel Widow 10 team, right? So today I wanted to kind of show off a Steel Widow 11 team and what that could look like, right? But remember, like, the three big components of this really are just going to be a Magic Girl, specifically Yua, because she gives that nice defense buff. But it's that mechanic for avoiding death, because even when you think that a unit's about to die from ongoing damage, they don't, right? And that's entirely because of Wish, right? And the Water Magic Girl obviously has it. She's a far better unit than the Dark Magic Girl, even though she has element disadvantage, because you can build her, tanky enough to take it, and it's not a big deal. But the Magic Girl has it, and she's the unit I have, so I put her in there. Like I said, there's still some things that you could go in there and you could tweak and you can improve, because I would much rather probably have the Water Magic Girl, because you could take the same team concept and start to move it up. Because at the higher levels of Syndic raids, ongoing damage doesn't make a lot of sense. And that has nothing to do with the cap or the way that they changed ongoing damage. It's just, it would take so long for ongoing damage to tick and go off and get reapplied, and you're just running into a lot of risks the longer you're fighting these Steel Widows. And that's one of the things that I think is really important about this team, is that it burns through the Steel Widow so fast that you don't have to worry about their rage counters. There's only 1 or 2 cleanses you have to worry about in general. So you have a great chance to build a foundation off of what you're doing. And Hoshi's buff block is just, I don't think we talk about that enough, about how game-changing that is in the Ascended raids, specifically in like Steel Widow 11, right? Because that really gives you the chance to ignore that immunity, ignore that invulnerability, and lay on the damage. Once again, another clean run all the way through. Now, much like we did with the Steel Widow video yesterday, I want to show some free-to-play options to replace those Blade Masters, so that everybody understands this is very relevant to their own progression, and you can only get faster and faster times, basically, as you move forward. So here we go. Okay, so it's probably no surprise that you can replace the Nature Blade Master Malika with the Nature Candy Munchkin Peppermint. She's a great free-to-play unit, and most likely by this time in your progression you've built her already, so you could pre-fly ED10, right? So if you haven't already, you should definitely start building her. She's free to play at 3 stars, and you just need to put her on Mortal with attack, crit damage, attack, and you don't even have to go crazy with crit rate for her, which is great. You just could do 50-60% crit rate, And because she self-buffs her own crit rate, I mean, you get up to that 80-90% that you want to have. Now, I'm a huge fan of 100% crit rate because I hate surprises, but it's not necessary. And the better you build these individual units, the faster your runs are going to be. Like this particular run is probably going to end up being like 2 or 3 seconds, or maybe 5 seconds, because we kind of got out of those waves a little slow. It's going to be a little bit fast, or a little bit slower than your Blade Master, but let's be honest, like we wouldn't expect much less, right? Because we're just replacing DPS. And again, if you look right here, we got some dots on us, but we didn't die, right? Because you was there. That's where Wish came in handy, and now we're just going to let Peppermint finish it off with her Bomb Barrage. So there you go. Let's see what kind of damage she did. The nice thing is that as Malika and some of the other units pull back, Rota will actually have a chance to step into the foreground and do more damage. Yeah, so you can see like she does 200,000, Peppermint does 200,000, and then you have Alya. Now, who can use for Alya though? And I'll be honest, it probably doesn't surprise a lot of people that I use Lemon Drop, but I want to qualify this because I think the better unit to use here would be like a second Peppermint. Because Peppermint benefits from Rota in her school down trade. So you actually have Bomb Barrage up more often, which I think is really, really helpful since that's the main way you're dealing damage. Now, it's with this team, once again, it's just about replacing your Blade Masters with DPS. But now if we just take a breath and look at this team, we can realize here's a Steel Widow 11 team that runs it in about a minute. This actually probably take a little bit longer because we took out the Blade Master, so maybe let's say a minute 10, minute and 15. But this team is all full of free-to-play units, and with the exception of Yua, because she's a light, dark Nat 3, I'll say that she's probably more difficult to get, despite the fact I got 3 of her and I only have 0 Water Girls. But I'll give that to people that maybe the light dark one's a little bit harder to get than the Water Magical Girl. And the Water Magical Girl does have a lot of higher gear requirements than Yua does. But I mean, this team is just so solid. You know, are you going to get hit with RNG? Yeah, of course you're going to get hit with RNG. Oh, and there you see that's a great example. You're not going to have, and in case you didn't notice, Peppermint actually got killed on that last shot. But I mean, with RNG, sometimes you just can't get around that. But I'm going to run this again because this actually, minute and 12. I was pretty close to being dead on. I've run this so many times, and it's got great consistency. Otherwise, I wouldn't show it to you. But, you know, I don't like the fact that she died, so I want to run it one more time. And if it survives, I will add it to the video. No, just teasing. It's a great team. It works really, really well. And I run it, I don't know, I probably ran it like 30, 40 times. For the video when we were testing out gear and stuff. So, and it's just a super simple team to put together. Now, when we started this video off, remember there was a 1 minute team, right? And we slowly replaced all the hard to find units with free to play, right? So, and that's really important to me because I want everybody to realize, like, no matter where you're at, no matter what your horrible RNG luck is, it doesn't take Nat 5s to get to this content and then to farm it regularly and consistently. And I know that you're already asking, like, well, what's the big difference between Steel Widow 11 and Steel Widow 10? Not much from a gear perspective, but I will tell you that while testing out these different teams, I did get the opportunity. I think I got 4 legendary shards. So at this point, this is like one of those conversations where I'm like, if you can do Steel Widow 10 in 50 to 60 seconds, right? Probably don't do a Steel Widow 11 if it's going to take you a minute and 15. Right, because you can, you know, it just works out that eventually you get more gear. Well, not even more gear, but like probably better gear going through Steel Widow 10 in the long term. But there you go. I mean, just another very safe. Okay, this was a minute and 15, but another very safe, consistent, free to play Steel Widow Ascended team. And as always, I want to hear what you guys think. Are there teams that you run? Are there things that you find to be super successful? Are there DPS units that you would recommend for this team? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching the videos. Have a great day.